President Biden spoke today on anti-Semitism to mark Holocaust Remembrance Day. His speech was focused on the rise that we have seen run rampant on anti-Semitism.
Our next guest is Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. She posted this on X before the speech. She's urging the president to stand with Israel. There's her tweet right there. She's been very vocal. Senator, your reaction to Biden's speech?
I was pleased to see him show support for Israel. I think it is important for him to put some actions behind those words, because we know the world is watching. We know that our allies and our enemies are paying attention to what he says and to what he does. And as Israel begins their attack on Rafah to root out Hamas and rid the world of Hamas, he needs to be standing with Israel.
Mm-hmm. Senator, I felt like Biden had to say what he said today. I mean, it's Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Right.
A very solemn day, important day. He gave a speech and
Very
he got out and he left. Where were the comments for the last 2 weeks, though? Mm-hmm. You know, he came out and said, oh, kids, they can protest. The protesters pay protesters. But you have that right, but don't vandalize. That was it. He didn't mention anti-Semitic behavior any of the chance at all. Today was his first big speech on this. This has been running rampant for the last 2 weeks. I think that's the glaring hole. What do you think?
I think it's been running rampant for longer than that. And you've seen the encampments for the last couple of weeks. But bear in mind that these pro-Hamas organizations and organizations, some that are being funded by Iran, some that are being funded by U.S. entities like the Gates Foundation, the Soros Foundation, things of that nature. They've been training students on how to carry out these protests on campuses, how to build these encampments, and they've been in training for months. And I have found it so interesting, as you have read some of the reports that are coming out, that people will talk about being trained. Mm-hmm. So now we're beginning to get this information and put this all together as to how deeply intertwined some of these organizations like Students for Justice in Palestine and Foundation for the Liberation of Palestine, how involved they are. Absolutely. And how intentional these protests on college campuses are to creating the chaos and the havoc that they have wanted to create in our country.
Senator, before I let you go, we have less than a minute left. I wanted to get your take on this. California Representative Maxine Waters on MSNBC touting conspiracy theories with no basis in fact whatsoever about Republicans. Take a listen to what she said.
I want to know about all of those right-wing organizations that he's connected with, who are training up in the hills somewhere and targeting, what communities they're going to attack. We need to know now, given that he's telling us that there's going to be violence if he loses. We need to know what his plan is and how we're going to be protected.
So she's claiming that President Trump is going to rally up supporters and attack. Meanwhile, we're seeing all of the unrest across the campuses that is being perpetuated by the radical left. Senator Blackburn, your reaction to Maxine Waters once again inciting and spewing out this dangerous rhetoric?
She is spewing out dangerous rhetoric, and this is something that I guess they've just created. What we are focused on is getting our message out in November, because the American people are with us when it comes to the border, when it comes to crime, when it comes to inflation, when it comes to our standing in the world. And we know that Joe Biden and the Democrats have no record to run on. What they have is confusion, chaos, failure, deception.
Senator Marsha Blackburn, thank you so much for joining us, ma'am.
You got it.